Watching a brother, it could be a brother, a father, a cousin, just die, like for no damn reason. It was disgusting, it was disheartening. It was like, I think we came to a point where we were just fed up. Like, because it was like a normal thing and it's not normal. And so this whole movement that's happening globally, it needed to happen because I think we got to a point where we're just like, enough is enough. We're human beings, you know, we're not animals. You know, if you just understand who we are, if you just acknowledge, it was frustrating when even questions were asked here, when even high up chiefs, CMP officers couldn't even admit that there's institutional racism. That was hard to swallow.
I question the reason why I came over to Canada. I question the reason why myself have been thinking for a very long time that the society is equitable. There is some sort of equality in the society, right? And question why some people think that they are more powerful than others, right? Question where and when it went wrong.
George Floyd's incident has really impacted me on a personal and professional level, and it's the saddest thing I have ever seen in my life. Even though I have seen dead body before, I have never actually heard or seen an actual person crying for his mother, crying for the same person who brought him to the world.
Very painful, up to date. I've not come over it. It's been a very tough moment, and it's still a tough moment for me as a black woman, as a black sister, as a black aunt, and as a black mother. And I have a son. So anytime I look at my son, or I look at all my children, I question why I brought them to this part of the world.
Just because you don't experience it doesn't mean it doesn't exist. And I think a lot of people put their blinkers on and try not to, you know, if it doesn't affect me, it's not happening. But actually, this is our reality, this is our life. And it's time that we're not going to sit down anymore. We need to talk about these issues. Change needs to happen.
And even though I have all the support and all the people around me, it was too emotional. I couldn't sleep for 3 days. I couldn't eat for 3 days. But yet I have a 5-year-old to take care of. I have the community to be there for. And we all mourn together. But the one thing that stood out for me is that I tell young people, don't play the race card in my job as a social worker. I tell people that not everybody is the same. And after that happened, it was very hard for me to justify.
The day of his burial, I cried because I was just thinking it could have been my brother, my father, or my little boy. So, and it brings me back to the question of where is that human dignity? Where is the equality they're talking about?
And yeah, I think his death was, and there's many we can talk about, but his was the move that we just said, he just died a senseless death for no reason. And yeah, I think at that point we were moved. I mean, trauma comes in different ways, and I think we've been traumatized for generations. I mean, even came to a point where we had a discussion as a team, innit? And we were talking about how certain situations have traumatized us, even affected the way we behave, the way we've named our children, what we do, and it shouldn't have to be that way.
It's not okay. And a young girl in her 20s from my community called me and said, "Why do they hate us so much?" And she's in law school, 20-year-old, and it was hard for me to explain to her. But at the same time, I had to have faith, and I had to be strong, and I had to be a human to answer her, and also be responsible in saying, it's not everybody. It's a handful of people. But then you realize it's actually a system behind this.
a white counterpart doesn't have to worry about. Would my name, be a barrier for me to get a job? Would my color make me look intimidating? They don't have to worry about those things, but those are our realities. I don't think my white counterpart has actually spoken to their children about the possibilities of being stopped by the police, the possibilities of being a threat. But we've had to have those conversations. I had to have that conversation with my son that's only 9. I have to explain what's going on in the world. And the big question is why, and there's no real answer to why, because it shouldn't be happening.
I know people say that it is very difficult to change a system that has been in place for a very long time, but I feel emboldened to keep pushing at the system, telling people in their faces when I see racism, when I see discrimination, oppression, keep doing it in my own way and encouraging other people, even my students, to do that.
Every day since I was born, I heard about discrimination. I grew up in it, and I'm a victim of it, and my people are victim of discrimination. So I think it's a time for the world to get up. It's a time for the world to start all over. It's a time for the world to respect one another, not just in pen and book, but let's do it. Let's do it. And I will call on my people. I tell people I will stand anywhere, even in United Nations, and I will speak as a black woman. I will speak as somebody who has been faced with discrimination, and I'll say, get up, my people. It's time for us to fight for our right. It's time for us to put a stop, no matter what it will take us. Enough is enough.